S15 things. In the last video, we were just getting a taste of DCT life. In the S15, before we had some oil issues, we knew the pan was leaking a little bit, so we just wanted to pause, get that sorted. And today we'll be fully testing out the DCT and seeing what this thing can do. There's still a lot of learning that it needs to go through. It needs to be put in a bunch of different load scenarios and driving scenarios so it continue to learn and get better.
The two little portholes that were on the bottom where the factory motor mount was, they actually passed through the side of the rotor housing. We didn't know that. So Cricket cut down some bolts, we made some block offs, put some silicone on it, resealed the pan, and we also have a dipstick now, which is very important.
Now we can tell where our oil level is at.
Like driving a BMW, you know, you just gotta drive and get it up to temp and then like, you know, look at the gauge and then see if you have oil. This one's just a little bit easier now. So we got that going, we got power steering in it now.
I've not driven the car at all yet with power steering, so that is something that I'm very excited to experience in this. It'll be a lot easier for me to muscle the car around. We actually have an electric MR2 pump. I've never personally had that in a car before, but it's definitely one of the go-tos. In my 3-rotor car, I have a Holden pump, which has been amazing, but MR2 parts and pump setups are just a lot easier to get over here in the US. That's gonna be new. The dash is in here. It is starting to feel more and more like a real car. We got some harnesses in here as well. And for now, Chris mounted up our CAN Haltech gauge right here, just so that I can see some information if we don't actually have the laptop in here. And headlights?
And headlights.
I just walked in. These weren't even here like 15 minutes ago.
Well, we wanted everyone to see that it's an S15
Yeah.
and not just, you know, there's taillights too, so, but it's coming from the front, you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It just has a 13B in it, so.
You gotta know.
You gotta know. It's tubbed in the front too, so it's really hard to, unless you know what it is. If they're just coming new to it, they'll see it. It says Sylvie on the side of it.
So we now have our fancy dipstick over here. So we have the Barroso front sump pan. It's for an earlier gen 13B. So where you actually use the stock dipstick, it hits nothing on the front sump because it's just very shallow there. So Cricket had to weld in a bung, and then we got this really nice dipstick here. Now we can actually tell how much oil is in there. So now I feel a lot better about doing some real proper rips on this thing. We're gonna be doing more DCT stuff with Duarte. They ended up putting a newer, lower mileage DCT into his car, so he has to go through some of the learning process again for that. Seeing Duarte rip this thing around with the DCT is what fully convinced me to just dive right in. So this entire build is also on the Drift HQ channel.
Yes, so this is one of our favorite builds so far. I said it about every car.
Come on my video? Really?
I said that thus far, like before we built yours.
Yeah.
You got to fully build and put all the sauce into it, and you said just pour it out on top.
Yep.
So we loved it. Duarte said the same thing with this one, so we were able to do fully built 2JZ GE with it, and with the RTEC manifold. RTEC actually makes a manifold for the GE. Plasma Man intake manifold for it, Garrett turbo, big intercooler, 700 horsepower, 650, what is it now?
It's like 600 now.
600 now, it was
It's
Nice.
down from
It
the
came down from
previous
the,
aggressive
yeah, it didn't need that much.
Yeah.
DCT in it, it has just the standard rear end for 335.
It's an upgraded axle.
What DCT is this? Is this the same V8 one that I have? Oh, okay, nice.
Oh, it was just as much of a pain in the butt to put it in this one as it was in that, even though it comes in this car. Interior on it is HGK, dashboard, center console, door pods, and then we added a little bit more sauce into it, obviously.
I love it. So Duarte and I just need to turn a lot of laps today in both of our cars so they learn and get smarter.
gonna take, I would say, 30 passes before it learns every single gear.
Okay.
And that's like going from like slowest to the fastest in that gear.
Yeah.
Slow, fast, second, third. Each gear has its own like learning process.
There's only so much learning that we can do here at the compound. We need to do some street passes, and eventually, I do have a plate for the S15, so eventually we'll get on the road. But the lower gears we can do here at the compound. So I'm gonna go for a ride along.
So when I start going, it's just gonna go as easy as it can go.
Yeah, you can really tell on the launch.
Yes.
Like your first few launches, it goes so slow because it's creeping, it's learning, that the clutches are adjusting.
Here, if you roll into it, it does already beautiful in second.
Oh my god! Holy shit!
How fast it goes, it's dumb. There's not enough runway here for us to drift. Like this.
What was that?
I told you, there's up to six gear between the length of this building.
This is my first DCT drift car ride along. That was insane! My car's gonna do that?
Gotta have good brakes, I'll tell you that much. It wants to go through the fence, through everything.
Bro, I'm terrified. I'm out. I'm out. Get me out of here.
Oh, dude, look how much smoothness already dropped. From that little bit that we did.
I can't believe it's taken me this long. I'm this far down a build before I actually experienced the DCT as a passenger. Never.
Third and fourth gear. That quick.
Oh my god. Oh my god. How is yours already that insane when it's learning?
Parameters were already set for the older transmission that we had in here, so now it's just learning to adapt to whatever solenoids, everything that's inside of this one.
Got it. So you already kind of had it partially tuned.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So now it's just dialing it in and
You just
relearning.
go like first gear up and down, second gear up and down, third gear, and then you can start giving it input and more throttle, RPM, and it's gonna be fast.
That was terrifying.
Brakes right.
Oh my god, that was insane. And yes, I know it's kind of crazy that we built a DCT car and I had never had a ride along in an actual DCT drift car. That was my first time. That was insane. So his car is much further along in the tuning process. It's just adapting to the new transmission that they put in. My car still has kind of a longer ways to go. We should be able to make some ground in the next hour or so, just doing a bunch of passes.
I know.
I've tried to drive this car so many times and this happens. Florida just does not want us to properly drive this car, and I'm getting so extremely frustrated. Right when I thought we were about to have some good passes, and it just dried up. This happened.
Yep.
And even the first passes that I did, it was still starting to sprinkle, so I was like, oh, I gotta go now. And unfortunately, I'm heading to the Smokies with Adam right now. So this is where this video is going to be ending. We keep getting just a little tease of the DCT. And at the compound, you can't even, I'm not even gonna be able to fully experience it here at the compound. So I think we're gonna come up with a new game plan. In the next video, we're going to be taking this car straight to a dyno. We're gonna go visit Lee at his shop because he has a roller dyno.
It's pouring now.
We're just gonna take it to a dyno and do everything that we need to do with both the tune on the engine and tuning the DCT. With a roller dyno, we can run it through all the gears and it can learn everything it needs to. That's actually what Duarte did with his car. And you come off the dyno and you're sorted, both engine and transmission. So that's the new game plan. In the next video, it'll be fully tuned and we can properly rip on this thing. And for now, I'm just going to dry off the car and I will see you guys in the next video.